I'm Anil Kumar, and in this video I'm going to connect input-output tables with pattern rules and graph. The question here is, create input-output table for the given pattern rule. Graph the pattern with first 6 terms, and I've given the pattern rule here. The pattern rule here is multiply each term in the input by 4, then subtract 1. So that is the pattern rule for us. So let's get back to the question. It says, given this pattern rule, create input-output table, right? So that is the first step which we need to do. So let's do that. So whenever you want input-output table, just make 2 columns. The first column for you is the input, and the second one is output, right? So we have input, and then we have output. How are they related? They are related with this pattern rule. It says input is to be multiplied by 4, then subtract 1. Multiply each term in the input by 4, then subtract 1, right? So if input number is any number, let us say n, then you have to multiply that number by 4 and then take away 1. So that is the rule, right? So this is your pattern rule. Now what do we need? We need to graph the pattern with first 6 terms. First 6 terms means input could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So these are the first 6 terms, right? So let us find for each term what should be the output. So the rule is input times 4 minus 1. So let us multiply 1 by 4, take away 1. 1 times 4 is 4, 4 take away 1 is 3. Now let's do the same with 2. 2 times 4 is 8, 8 take away 1 is 7. 3 times 4 is 12, 12 take away 1 is 11. 4 times 4 is 16, 16 take away 1 is 15. 5 times 4 is 20, 20 take away 1 is 19. And 6 times 4 is 24, take away 1 is 23. So we get a set of points. What you'll observe here is that every time you are going up by 4, do you see that? Every time you go up by 4, that is the pattern, right? So this 4 is because when you multiply by 4 every time you go by 4, that is the link between the two, okay? So at times we can give you the numbers and you need to write the pattern rule. So that is the connection. I hope you understand that. Okay, now let's look into the next part, and that is graph, right? So graph the pattern with first 6 terms. So what do we need to graph? On the input side, if I give 1, output is 3. So 1 and 3. So normally when you have to graph, you have to always write input on x-axis. So input is along x-axis, so I'm writing input here. And output is along the y-axis. Let me write output along the y-axis, okay? So that is the output. Now the numbers in input are changing from 1 to 6. In the output they are changing from 3 to 23. That means we need to have a proper scale. Okay, so 1 to 6 is not a problem. We can always say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, done. How about 3 to 23? Well, how many can we fit in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, so that means we should take each division as 2, right? Then only we can get 11 times 2 as 22, correct? So that could be one way of doing it. So let us say if I say 2, then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, and 23 barely fits in. We could take, right? So let's take each as 2. So if each is 2, then 2 will be 4, right? Okay. So let us write down the values. So we'll write here, we'll write 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, right? So we could skip and write, but each square here is 1 unit along the x-axis. However, on the y-axis it is 2 units. We'll write 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Okay, so 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and somewhere there will be 24 for us. Okay, so now let us see how to plot these points. So the first point for us is 1, 3. So 1, and you know this is 2. 3 has to be midway, right? So midway. So that is 3 for us. Do you get the point? So that is 3 for us. 2, 7. 2 and 7. So 2 and 7. 1 less than 8. So here we have 7. Do you see that? 7. 3, 11. So 3 and 11. So 1 less than 12. Right there between, because each is 2. So half is 1. Do you see that? Okay. 4 and 15. So 4 and 15 is 1 less than 16. Correct. 5 and 19. So 5, 19 is 1 less than 20. Right. 6 and 23. So 6 and 1 less than 24. So that is how we get a set of points, and these points represent first 6 terms of the multiple of our pattern rule, which is multiply each term in the input by 4, then subtract 1. Do you see? Right? Now, as an added exercise, here is a question for you. Find or calculate the 10th term, right? Calculate the 10th term. So use this input-output rule and calculate the 10th term. And one more question for you is, explain why 30 is or 30 cannot be the output. Explain why 30, let me write, cannot be output for this pattern. So these are 2 questions for you to think about and answer. I hope they help. Thank you and all the best.